Dailies. Start your day by gaining fresh perspectives, uncovering the story behind the story, and join the conversation. Because your voice matters. From the Dailies, the conversation never stops.
It's day number 30 in the month of May 2025. I say thank God it's Friday and thank God for counting you and I worthy to be among the living to see the Friday, the 30th day in the month of May 2025. My name is Adi Damala Lafenwa and this is from the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM where we get to take you through the front page stories of our newspapers. And of course, as expected, I have Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokbe live in the studio with me this beautiful Friday morning. A good morning to you, Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokbe.
Yes, a good morning to you, my dear comrade brother. It's another Friday. And of course, to the Muslim faithfuls, we say Baraka Juma. And of course, to the boys and girls out there, we say thank God it's Friday.
Okay, without wasting much of our time this morning, I have about 5 newspapers for us to review. But as expected, let's say 95% of the front pages of such papers, of the papers we have, are mostly advertorial, celebrating Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2 years, for 2 years in office. But looking at the few stories we have on the front pages of newspapers, taking the account of the Guardian newspaper, I have this one saying, talking about Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, decries over 18,000 job cuts. Hostile environment. Page 3 of the Guardian newspaper has that story. Moving away from that to Atiku AFDB PRP flag FG's loan plan despite impressive IGR returns. That headline seems sarcastic in nature because the government has come out when reeling out the achievements in the last 2 years, saying that the IGR has been very impressive. And Atiku, AFDB, PRP are now asking questions. If the IGR is that impressive, why is it taking this huge amount of loans again? We'll talk about that. And
Infrastructure, they claim.
Infrastructure.
And education.
Okay, this is not a good story. Amnesty International says gunmen killed 10,217 persons in 7 states. Page 3 of the Guardian newspaper has that story. Ohaneze, others fault Tinubu's scorecard as APC blames past leaders. Page
really?
6.
Blame game?
Blame game continues. I thought blame game ended the
With
time
Buhari.
of Buhari. Okay.
Corruption is fighting back.
You said?
Corruption is
Fighting back. Away from the Guardian newspaper, taking a look at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune right now. Second anniversary, Tinubu declares economic reforms are working. And the writer says only alternative to reforms was fiscal collapse. Reaffirms commitment to security, national development, highlights progress made amid rising cost of living. Page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune has that complete story. Emefiele appeals final forfeiture order on 753 housing units estate. I mean, I saw that story and I was taken aback. Emefiele filing an appeal for the forfeiture of the 753 housing units.
I'm sure the documents for traced to Emefiele, I'm sure the documents of those properties do not read Emefiele, Godwin Emefiele alone. And, but when you want to hang a dog, you just give it a
Bad name, definitely. Moving away from the Nigerian Tribune, looking at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this Friday morning. Presidency, Atiku, Afenifere, MBF, others clash over Tinubu's midterm report. And riders, economic reforms biting harder, Afenifere. First 2 years disastrous, MBF. Claim of economic revival insulting to suffering Nigerians, Wabara. And still taking the riders, democracy thriving in Nigeria under Tinubu presidency. And the last rider, our policies unstoppable, irreversible. APC. Interesting. Well, that story is found on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving away from the Vanguard newspaper, taking a look at the Nation newspaper now. Tinubu rescued rivers with emergency rule, says Fubara.
That's something
page
we
2.
have to really talk about.
We need to talk about it. Yeah, he gave a kind of it was at the gathering yesterday to mark his 2 years in office, even though he's under suspension.
He's in 2 years. He's 2 years in office.
2 years in office, so he made some statement which will have the cause a privilege to listen to some of the things he said.
I
on the
think
program.
Fubara lacks discretion.
When we get there. Still taking stories on the front page of the Nation newspaper. What president should do with economy before 2027? And the rider expert projects deliverables in 2 years. Page 2 of the Nation newspaper has that story. Now, moving to the last paper I have before me, that is the Punch newspaper. And taking the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper, Tinubu's cabinet, aviation sector struggles to stay aloft in turbulent skies. Okay, moving away from that, page 32 has that story. Another one, midterm review, APC fights back as Labour counters Tinubu's scorecard. And the riders' ruling party, Ribado, defend Tinubu's reforms. NLC, TUC, Amnesty decry worsening hardship insecurity. And the very last story on the front page of the Punch newspaper, which will be the first story I would like us to discuss on the program this morning. It has to do with the WAEC examination, the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, which was written on Wednesday. And an ugly incident again raised its head during the exam. Now, looking at the account of the Punch newspaper, WAEC under fire as exam chaos sparks outrage. It's 9:41 on Solutions at 939 FM. Now it's time for us to go into these stories one after the other. This last Wednesday, another ugly incident occurred, and not just in one state. In about, it happened in Abia. I want to read out the state where the thing was recorded: in Abia, Kwara, Taraba, Ogun, Osun, Delta, Ebonyi, Rivers, Enugu, Lagos, and in Oyo State. Now, what happened? That day was meant for the writing of the English paper for the WAEC. But there were videos that went viral that day that students were made to keep writing English paper 2 until about 10 p.m. that day. It was an ugly incident. We have the video, some of the videos that went viral, which we'll have to post on our Facebook page. Looking at that ugly video. Those are students putting on candles, mobile phone touchlight. It was so worrisome. Students were huddled under lanterns, candles, and mobile phone flashlights desperate to complete the examinations this last semester. And I have the voices of some of the parents that had to go to those venues when they didn't see their kids returning home. These are the examinations that look at ongoing exam, and they were writing English paper 2 that had to do with writing essay in that condition. A particular father said that he left his house and he got to the school where his child was writing the examination at 10:45 p.m. and they were still writing the examination. Let's take a listen at some of the parents who expressed their anger.
I'm not happy at all because this is not a do or die affair. We still have tomorrow. If the exam cannot work today, why not shift it to tomorrow? But my children has been here from morning. She came to this school by 7 a.m. And what is the time now? This is p.m. night. And compared to the insecurity of this nation, keeping children till night is not the best. So I don't know what Nigeria will be doing about this, so that such things should not repeat itself again. Look at what we are facing now. And up till now, they are still on this exam hall writing. How can we transport ourselves back home? I came under the rain to look for my child. It's not proper. Right from when I've been from high school down to secondary to university, I've never experienced this. Why are children suffering this? I consider this as also a child abuse to the children. It's not the best.
So this is very, very uncalled for. These children has been here since in the morning. Up to this hour, these children are still here. What have they done to deserve all this? Our children need better than this. Our children cannot be suffering because of exam, and just because of exam they are suffering this kind of suffering. Why can't they leave the exam till tomorrow? At this time of the night, children are still in the school writing exam. This is very, very uncalled for. This not, the children don't deserve this at all. Our children do not deserve this. So I don't know what to say, because this is very bad. So those writing exam tomorrow, when are they going to write tomorrow's paper? This is very bad. This thing is very uncalled for.
I'm here because of my child is writing an exam by this hour of the night. I just finished eating my dinner around to 9. I want to go to my bed under this rain. Around this, I left my house 10:15 down to the school up to 9. Nobody have talked to us, nobody have explained anything to me, and my child is still inside the exam hall writing. Okay, since I was born, I never witnessed such a thing. Even if they're in Nigerian University in Nsukka, such a thing cannot be happening. Even that in Harvard University, USA, it cannot happen in a developed country. Only in this Nigeria. It's a part of government failure. Our education is failed because the government has failed all of us. So that's the only thing I can say. Thank you.
Now, those are accounts of some of the parents who had to leave their houses to go and look for their kids who failed to return home on time. I mean, this is pointing to a much deeper systematic issue in our education system. I mean, if this is the environment and condition where we want our students to learn and succeed in, what future are we preparing for? English people, even people that have written English during the day didn't make it. Now people writing English paper till 11 p.m. Just when we're trying to recover from the glitches of jam.
You know, you and I had a conversation before. When we were in primary school, each time we were fed the rest of the afternoon is virtually wasted. Because people will either be doing it in broad daylight. No talk of children. Now, provision was not made for these children. Things have been made. The provision would have been made for them to have probably breakfast and lunch or just one meal in between. And then you keep them till 11. Number one, hunger will have anxiety.
The paper was meant to start at 9 a.m.
Oh, really?
9 a.m.
Yeah.
paper.
Nah,
That went on till 11 p.m.
So, I don't understand. I don't have to say
Yes, I have the sound of the head of the Nigerian
Let's hear him.
The head of the Nigerian National Office of the West African Examination Council, and that is Dr. Amos Dangote. He had this to say, as in giving excuses for what happened. Explanation.
Let's help him call it explanation.
Let's take a listen.
I want to begin by giving unreserved apology for what played out yesterday. Let me quickly shed light on the happenings that led to what played out. It was very unfortunate that we received the information that the paper was being compromised. And so, as an examination body that is credible, that wants to be fair, we went to the drawing board and quickly came up with a solution to the compromised paper. So the preparation for the examination for that paper took off in earnest. We were able to achieve the aim we set out to, that is to prevent leakage. We were able to do that, but unfortunately, some other issues lurking in the dark reared their heads and affected the timely conduct of the examination. And that is particularly with regards to logistics. We had serious logistical problems. And for the vehicle that was conveying the exam material to Taraba, it broke down on the road in the middle of the night. And efforts to ensure that materials were recovered and sent to the place could not be achieved in time. So these were some of the reasons, and I want to say that we deeply regret it, and we have taken all steps necessary to ensure that this snip into the board doesn't occur again.
Now that was the voice of the head of the Nigerian National Office of the West African Examination Council, WAEC, Dr. Amos Dangote, apologizing. Many apologize. How many apologies have Nigerians listened to now? We had Ishakuli, the registrar of JAM, apologizing and shedding tears for the glitches experienced during the just concluded UTME. And now we have the head of WAEC apologizing. Now look at the trauma.
Now, he said he talked about the issue of compromised
Question.
No problem with that. It was compromised. This film, the clips we are watching, they're in Lagos, Abi?
The Taraba, we have Taraba. It cuts across many states. And let me read out the states again that were affected. Abia, Kwara, Taraba, Ogun, Osun, Delta, Ebonyi, Rivers, Enugu, Lagos, and Oyo. Those are the ones that I did findings on, and I confirmed it actually. Now,
let's say your state accepts easily from Lagos. What about getting the result, what do you call it? What about getting the questions? What about getting them to What about getting them to all sorts of far from? You see, I don't think the date for that subject is cast in stone. That they will not insist that the exam will be written that day. And let me tell you that he said they had to go back to the drawing board. No. You didn't have to go back to the drawing board.
They could have shifted the exam.
Look, my father was a member of the Nigerian National Executive Council Committee of WAEC for decades. they have backup questions. They have each subject had backup questions, and they had standby teams, to address all these issues. So it is a matter of rigidity, sticking to rigidity. Why don't you just do it after the last paper? You understand? And reach all other, reach other countries. How many of them is English-speaking West African countries? Or we do our own, Nigeria, alone, on a separate day, and set different questions for them. After all,
why was it?
after all,
That same exam was written in more than 300.
I think five West African countries. Now, so what is he saying now? Is he saying
And none of such countries experienced that.
because at least there was no compromise discovered or announced, which in essence means that the examinations that the Nigerian students took is different from the ones that the other 4 countries did. So why the rigidity about the day? Why the rigidity?
Now, I have a comment here. It says, this is rather unfortunate. Even in Rivers State, my son got home around 9:20 p.m. What a country.
Look at the Nigerian flag. I went for an interview when we started the interview.
What if it's an Nigerian thing? Is that not
I'm talking
derogatory?
about the 80s.
Is that not derogatory? I mean, this is something that we shouldn't be attacking
We
to
got to
ourselves.
the Federal Secretariat by before 8 a.m. And the interview started around midnight. I'm talking about the mid-80s. They did that to us. They did that to us. I left the Federal Secretariat maybe after 1 a.m.
Comrade Ayode Jasope, since the day I was born, at least I've spent some few years on earth, I have never witnessed WAEC examination, English paper 2 for that matter, that has to do with the writing essays, being written under candlelight, mobile phone touch lights, lanterns.
Why did they have to take that exam? That is the question.
Now,
Why did they have to take
the
the exam?
Twitter went agog on Wednesday night. I want to read some of the Twitter I got from that. Now, just weeks ago, JAMB ruined the result of thousands of students. There was no repercussion. Nobody paid for it. Just silly tears on national TV. Today, WAEC is asking children to write exams at night with the level of insecurity. As always, nothing will
What
happen.
if people go into that and storm that place and carted away children?
And that was one. I'm trying to read another one. Okay, this is in a sane country, the Minister of Education ought to be on TV right now. Even if you wanna act like you care and you are awake and can't rest. These same people dragged Patient Jonathan for crying for kidnapped kids. Like you ought to be showing actions.
Gamala, that honorable, that Minister of Education, when the result of JAM came out,
When people complain about the glitches,
when people complained about the scores,
okay.
and the minister said, Alausa said, yes, the scores will be low because JAM is doing, although it is doing a yeoman's job. He has taken care of, malpractices, malfeasance, and all sorts of, things that are coming down. That's why the scores are low. These are the actual scores. That was what Alausa had to say. And then, Mulade himself came out dismissing outright, offhandedly, all the complaints of parents and those only to turn around 5 days later.
Now, the excuse the head of the National Office of WAEC has given that we don't listen to is that enough to subject students to this? Look at the video running on our Facebook page. Writing paper in the dark.
You see, the problem in
And let's talk about the way forward. Are we going to fold our arms and let this continue?
Number one, in this country, no consequence
For wrong action.
no consequences for anything. For a head of, you see, when people, you check and double check and triple check and be sure that when there is a failure, that failure should not be attributable to human error.
The Honorable Minister of Education has not addressed this one.
The last one he did without checking his facts, and he fell. Should
that be?
Shouldn't be.
Something this monumental failure of this magnitude.
Same thing Oloyede himself did. Dismissing
before he later started shedding tears on TV.
And turned around a few days later to say after the thorough review. So where was he talking from?
Now the results of this students will be released in a couple of weeks. And God forbid.
There will be consequences.
I know many people that had to recite English language for many attempts.
I gave you a scenario.
English people.
That I knew I had a few challenges. Mathematics. A very good teacher. And I told you that morning when I was going for my math exam, I didn't wait for breakfast. And usually I breakfast with my father, myself. And my father was a graduate of physics. And he would have asked me a few questions. Me, that I, delicately said the formulas and stuff like that. So if anybody said anything in his or her head since morning, it will have disappeared.
And sadly, all the students we are looking at in the videos now, some of them had papers to write the following one. Yes. Which they had no time to. When you are still writing the paper for today till 11 p.m.
And then maybe some of them couldn't go home.
Some of them might have to sleep in school.
Look around, no excitement.
No. Before we leave this issue,
and critical subject, are we to be alive?
Are we when things go wrong? We are yet to recover from that of jam, and now WAEC, almighty WAEC. I saw what looked like two classes collapsed into one. No wall dividing them. So I popped my head in and I said, is this one class? He said, no, it's two classes. I said, this is your own class. How many people are there? 70. Like these two studios now. One class here, another class there, and then there's somebody's teaching here. 70 here, 70 there. When you're teaching 70, now look at this exam class now. This exam, is it even suitable enough? Look at the sitting arrangement for an examination as big as English paper WAEC.
So there is a price on our hands. Our interface that I was involved in today. It's a nationwide crisis. And any nation that does not pay adequate attention to education. That's why we are today. People have certification, but they do not have the knowledge. And those who have the knowledge there's an application guide, there's knowledge, and then application. And people can only go as far as what they know and how to apply it. I was listening to somebody yesterday who was talking about the cost of education. And we're talking about, the government was talking about so much money coming in. And then, why are you not funding education? Why, if so much money, National Assembly is getting more money. Getting more money. So why are you not funding education directly and indirectly, like through this NELFON? So why infrastructure is critical? It is the same old classes that we use, in IFE, humanity. Imagine the days we were in Ife and the number of students that are in those departments now. Even then, some of our classes you will have to struggle. People fought, people slap the keep and talking about some of these things, they say, I don't know. You see, I keep telling people that when we remember Awolowo did this, Awolowo did that. Basically, how we remember Awolowo for horse jumping.
Okay, that's English paper now. Before we wrap things up on this particular issue now, do you see the students performing excellently well? Okay, still from the Dailies and Solutions at 93.9 FM. It's 2 minutes past 10, and moving to other stories now. I mean, we're still celebrating the president. There have been many reactions, and some have been speaking, pulling him down, saying that, okay, the activities of the government, I mean, the administration of the ministry come up with are not good enough. But one man came out earlier this week and he said President Bola Tinubu is the best option Nigeria ever had, and he has done a lot. And what really caught my attention was the fact that Nigerians are only complaining about Tinubu because they are lazy, they want easy money. What am I talking about? The senator or the he had this to say.
I'm not a psychopath. This is first president. You know, I have bank farms. This is first president that stopped subsidy. This is first president that matched the $2. That is why we are suffering. Because Nigerians are not used to working hard. We are used to getting cheap money. People sleep in their houses and use telephone and get dollar and sell it at very high rate. People sit in their houses and use their tank farms and collect paper, and they make money. But this is one president who have said, if you are ready to make money, make it the right way. If you are not ready to make money, you leave it. So I don't think, moreover, they have to vote for him because, you see, President Tinubu is not going to be a president voted by the South alone. He will be a president that will be voted by North and South. And it's also for the interest of
Senator Iroyin Akiika there, that statement saying that Nigerians are known to be lazy, not hardworking, they always want easy money. It brings to mind, I mean, the careless utterances of some of our leaders. I mean, we had a president that went outside the country and said we have lazy Nigerian youths. We have another man now, a serving senator, saying Nigerians are known to be lazy. They only want cheap money. What do you make out of that?
Well, just like you said, let's take a look at the man. Let's unmask this. This gentleman attended University of Maiduguri. This gentleman talking.
Iroyin Akiika.
Yes, he
Okay.
attended until some things happened, and then a few discoveries were made about the inconsistencies in his admission.
In his admission, right? Okay.
And that's this same fellow too attended in the days of Babangida, attended a public function where he donated money, and it was discovered that it was only the upper layers that contained actual
Notes.
money.
Oh, comrade.
No. We have to unmask them.
I know. I like the way you
We
are
have to unmask them.
unwrapping the man Iroyin Akiika.
We just have to unmask them. And now he said he has tank farms.
He has tank farms.
Look, when he's talking about people making easy money, yes, the governor of Central Bank will call you. I have $1 million for you. Which account are you going to take it? You just take the 400 million. That will be the.
Was he not convicted for?
He was
financial-
convicted. It was only the Supreme Court that maneuvered and said one of the justices that was on that panel after 20 he was convicted.
He was convicted. I remember.
And then technical grants.
After serving as a governor of.
And then technical grants. The Supreme Court said one of the judges, did not sign. He had actually been elevated and did not sign that judgment. The man was convicted. They didn't say he was not convicted. They only said he should be. They ordered a retrial. They didn't say the man was not convicted.
On technical
He
grounds,
was not discharged or acquitted. He
on,
ordered a retrial.
on technical grounds, he escaped.
Yes, and the trial was ordered. He was convicted. Now, and then he said people have tank farms. Is it people like you and me that have tank farms? Is it people like you and me that...
I was going to ask you if you had any tank farm.
You know, NNPC was paying 50 cents, I think, on a barrel of a product. NNPC that has 21 depots was renting tank farms from people like this. You know, these are economic saboteurs. I mean, and they say people are making cheap money. Are you making cheap money here? You voiceovers you do, the events you anchor, is that cheap money?
I've been here since yesterday morning.
Oh, you are making cheap money.
I'm making cheap money.
Well, but you see, some of these people, apparently, you know, he went back to Open University. I remember there was a photograph of him taking his exams, and Guardian caption is "Easy goes back to school."
Easy goes back to school. I remember.
You know, very careless. I think there is a shallowness in his vocabulary. That is why people deploy words like this. You know, careless deployment, careless choice and deployment of words. And then they turn around that I was misquoted or I was quoted out of context, or they actually say that is not what I mean. Why do you say things Why do you say things that you don't mean? So
Nigerians are known to be lazy people.
Nigerians are known to be lazy people in this country. In this country, where people are struggling, hustling to keep their heads.
When people leave their houses very early in the morning. I mean, this doesn't have to do with gender now. You can hardly differentiate between
women
the two genders
are
now.
working as hard, if not harder,
than the men now. And the several senator, saying publicly.
Yeah. A few months back, maybe about a year ago, he was saying he had to pack his jet and all of that. You know, all sorts of careless talk by people who purport to lead us.
Okay. Still from the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. Away from that, and there is a man that has been one of the key factors disturbing the peace in the PDP. And that is the man that is sitting on that. It's not Damagum now. It's not even Nissan Weekend now. It's the man that is laying claims to the seat of the National Secretary of the PDP. Talking about Sam Anyanwu.
Oh.
Now, Sam Anyanwu said he remains the authentic National Secretary of the PDP, no matter what any other person said. And he seems to have scores to settle with the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Iroyin Akiika. Let's take a listen.
It is thus established that any meeting convened or attended by Honorable Odofa remains invalid and infected by the virus of fundamental illegality. This is from the judgment of the High Court. So you now go to Enugu, say you have Southeast. So like executive committee, who is there? I am the national secretary of the party. I'm from the Southeast. What meeting will you convene when I'm not there? What justification do you have? Assuming today I'm no longer national secretary, I remember a member of caucus. I remember a member of the board of trustees. I remember a member of NEC by my position. Talkless of Southeast, where I come from. In politics, governor of Enugu State is governor of Enugu State. He's the only governor in the Southeast. But not the leader of the party. Party is supreme. I'm national secretary of the party. This position I'm holding today is what Ojo Madepe had. It was Obulafo had. It was sent to Okiwodo, who is from the side, he knows the truth. And besides, Ben Obi, I nominated him at Port Harcourt. I was among the people that nominated him in Port Harcourt as secretary to McCarthy. And as a matter of fact, they understand the role and position of National Secretary of the Party. My question is, what will Governor Makinde say that I did to him? Have I stressed him for any reason? Have I called him for anything before? What's my sin? What's my problem with him? Have I done anything against him? What has I done against Peter? I consider him as my friend. So what is the problem? Even some of them, oh, I don't have any problem with you. It's not because you're a friend to Wike. So you choose my friend for me? Can somebody choose your friend for you? You can be a Catholic, your wife can be an Anglican, but you still live in the same house. And just minister are talking about today. Last December, paid the housing allowance of all the entire staff of PDP. Let them aware. Today, as we speak, the staff of the parties is being controlled by Makinde because they pay them money. And open separate account for the staff. So who is in charge of the party then? What is the problem with me? Now you're not going to say, oh, I'm not a national secretary. INEC, it's posting. INEC did not receive correspondent. Now they've come. They set up a committee by themselves. And they went to INEC and they told them so there's no vacancy. And nobody can sign a document outside me. They confided themselves. I did not. It was Mba that went there for himself. After doubting other submissions of people that went.
Sam Anyanwu there speaking, the National Secretary of the PDP, asking a question that, Seyi Makinde, what have I done wrong to you that you are against me?
I just think the issue in PDP now is about issue of interest. You know, in every party, that's why when people say a faction, no, these things are not factions. They are tendencies. The article tendency, the Wike tendency, then the governor's tendency, you understand? Everybody's pursuing his own sub-agenda under a particular, all those people, the governors banding together under the governor of Bauchi State. It's not as if they don't have their own individual agenda.
Sam Anyanwu just said now that it seems the problem he has with Seyi Makinde is the fact that he's a friend of Nyesom Wike. And because Makinde and Wike are not on the same page anymore, that's why Makinde is against his position as the National Secretary of the PDP.
Technically now, number one, the governor set up that reconciliation committee. And the reconciliation committee said this man should be the secretary. They not only said that, they said that in compliance with the legal position. And that is important as foundational. The consequences, if you do not apply wisdom, the consequences will be great for the party. Because every correspondence, every transaction for elections and all of that, if the right person does not append his signature, it amounts to a nullity.
He said something that any meeting convened without his presence there is
in fact,
invalid.
Without calling the meeting.
That he has to be the one to call any meeting with the name PDP on it.
Exactly. When they said the NEC was postponed and one deputy national secretary was saying the meeting will hold, I was asking myself, you see, this is the INEC recognized. And when we say INEC did not act by fiat. INEC is acting based on legal advice.
He's the one that INEC recognizes as the National Secretary of the PDP.
INEC recognizes him based on legal counsel from its legal directorate. What is the position of the law? That is why it is not that INEC is recognizing Anyanwu as a person. You understand? INEC is recognizing the office. Who occupies it? What are the rules? What is the position of the law? That's the position of the law. It's not that INEC is recognizing IAU. No. And that is the position the Reconciliation Committee took based on legal counsel. Or everything else will be standing on nothing. That will be a faulty and a very dangerous, position to take. When you want to build, you are building on nothing. What are you building? To come down like a pack of cards. So, I think it is better if people genuinely want reconciliation. You understand? People should admit certain truths. Truths are different from facts. Facts can change today and no longer be a fact tomorrow. But today, this is a fact and it is a truth. And that case is as terminated, as it is. Legally, the case over here was terminated. So, where are you going to, what are you going to do? Except you want to continue to cause problems for and in the party. Then people are going to ask, so what then is your interest? If is this party your interest? You understand? It says some things about Wike paying everybody's housing allowance.
Housing allowance, yeah.
So, is individuals that fund the party just like that? There must be a structure. I remember in 1998, people, even the party cards of AD had something like a purse where you would put money, and then at meetings you would drop it. So that's one of the major challenges. But I guess that we are evolving. Democracy is not an event. Well, just like marriage too is not an event. It is the wedding that is the event. So when you are done with the wedding, you will now face the marriage. So I guess I want to believe we're evolving. 25 years, you want to say, 26 years.
26 years, yeah.
But in the life of a nation, that endures for hundreds and if not thousands of years sometimes. So I think we should just, but I guess the people who run the party, they are starting to show their fingers, not their hands yet, but we are seeing fingers.
Okay. All right. Moving away from that too, moving to Rivers State, where Simi Fubara, the suspended governor of Rivers State, had a small get-together to celebrate or to commemorate his 2 years in office, despite being under suspension at the moment. Now, according to the account of the Nation newspaper, Tinubu rescued Rivers with emergency rule, says Fubara. Page 2 of the Nation has that story. And at that event, he went on to commend the effort, the role being played by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that his action, his timely action, fatherly action, brought peace to an extent in Rivers State. Let's take a listen at some of the things Fubara said.
Today, unfortunately, we're not in one particular place to commission a project. We're not in a famous banquet hall to do dinner. But to the glory of God, we're also here for life. Thank you for the good people that you have used to surround me. That's the truth. Good people. Are we talking about the ones here or the ones in River State that almost died when they heard what I said? Are we talking about the Nigerians? I don't even know them. They spend their money, they spend their time for us to succeed. If I continue to say I'm not happy, grateful for all this, the liar will do everything he did. Because without him, protest will solve the problem now. The protest at the end, but it came in at the right time. And it salvaged a very, very worth terrible situation. So let me thank him here for that intervention. The intervention that has given us this opportunity to still address ourselves. My deputy, as Her Excellency, and myself too, are addressing me. By now you would have been calling me for so that these issues will be resolved. And a good number of personalities in this country have always spoken for us.
Because of our time, he went ahead to apologize to all his supporters, especially for what he said a few weeks ago, saying that his heart has left the government house, and he made mention of the role being played by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said that if not for Bola Ahmed Tinubu's intervention, it would have been referred to. He even looked at his deputy, Ngozi, saying that it is because of the intervention of Bola Tinubu that he's still being referred to as His Excellency. That if Bola Ahmed Tinubu hadn't come in at that time, probably would have been impeached, and the deputy too would have been impeached. So now looking at the man, Simi Fubara, critically, let's unmask him.
Number one, hailing Tinubu is, I don't want to dress it up, it's ego massaging. And the ego massaging has only one objective: to quicken his return as governor. Number one. Number two, his utterances and in his choice of words, you understand, is another blow to his supporters. You had, you played Donu Kogbara's clip just a week ago. It's another blow. You are apologizing for one. You are delivering another blow in that face. Somebody people are accusing of unconstitutionality, and you are saying he saved Rivers. No, Tinubu did not save Rivers. Tinubu saved Fubara. You see, there is a distinction between these things. People should not dress it up. Tinubu did not save Rivers. Tinubu's move was to save Fubara. And saving Fubara was for him to take control. People should make distinction.
Was for who to take control?
For Tinubu to take control. Direct control.
Okay.
Because if Wiki had gone ahead with his impeachment plan, you understand, it should have been the speaker. If governor and deputy governor are impeached, the speaker will have taken over. The speaker is from Ikwere. The speaker is said to be his cousin. And he would have been the acting governor for 90 days for elections to be, and he would have been the candidate. And he was most likely to win.
You know, Fubara even said it at that event. He made a joke about it. He said he saw a cartoon of two dogs fighting for a bone, and while the two dogs were busy fighting, another dog from nowhere just came and grabbed the bone from those two. Apparently referring to
the president,
Wike and him as the two dogs who were fighting, and somebody else just came, another dog just came and took away the bone from the two of them.
So Tinubu is in control now. Negotiating. It is in the news.
It was Tinubu that presented the budget for 2025 to the National Assembly.
Now he's in control. Now, but Fubara is alleged to have met him in England. You know, negotiated. So this is a fallout of the meeting.
And he also said in this event that he had a meeting. He confessed, or he opened up to that he had a meeting with his former boss, Jason Wike.
Okay. Yes. But
that he's ready for peace, that people should not protest. Protest will not solve everything. Let us do the path of peace. He's a jolly good fellow. Everybody that knows him knows that he's a man of peace. So he's ready to do anything for peace to reign.
Now, the balance of terror is in favor of Tinubu. No longer in favor of, what do you call it? Fubara.
Wike.
The balance of terror is not in his favor. Because now the president will say, put your men on a leash. If you don't, I kick you out of your position. You understand? So, the president will now be dealing directly with Fubara and dealing with, what do you call him, Wike. You understand? Wike has not won this battle. No, he did not win this battle. It is, if anybody won, it is Tinubu who holds the balance of terror now in that place. You go back, and when Fubara is reinstated, is it a victory for Wike? It is not. And they will say, stop terrorizing him. Okay, you do this for them, which will not be, it will have been a winner takes it all. If he had impeached, it would have been a winner takes it all. So it's no longer a winner takes it all for him. So I mean, just leaving. Okay, you two. Do
so
something.
this thing you termed ego massaging.
It's ego massaging. It's ego massaging. It's massaging
to what benefits?
Quick return. Quick return.
But is it wrong?
Well, considering.
Maybe he understands the fact that it's only Tinubu that can bring him back, and obviously he must
course,
have. It
course.
is a huge dent on his political career to have been suspended for quite a number. So I'm sure any man will want to do anything to return to his office.
But you see, it is not like they say, not be today. It's choice of words. Even when before he was suspended, it's choice of words. You see, your choice of words and the deployment of it, so that you look at. I mean, you know, the person of Donu Kogbara's stature, very, very deep, has been around for decades in that space. They feel demoralized. They are not fighting for Fubara. You understand? They are not on the streets for Fubara. They are out on the streets in defense of democracy and rivers.
In rivers, yes.
No, it's not about Fubara. It's only symbolic. It's only just like you will be surprised. Those who started supporting MK Abiola, they were not supporting MK Abiola. They were supporting the sovereignty of the people that they put behind Moshood Abiola's name on that day. You understand? So people should, there's a distinction. He saved rivers. No, Tinubu did not save rivers. Tinubu saved Fubara because Fubara too is a tool that he can deploy. So it will not be, rather than one against the other for Tinubu in 2027. Wike and Fubara will be working in Tinubu's interest in 2027.
As we wrap up, the man Fubara that just spoke now seems to be a man that will be ready to take any terms given to him for peace to reign.
No, it's not going to. Look, this time around.
Do you see, if he's been restated now, do you see him and the legislative arm of the government working in tandem?
The state government, the state legislature. No, the state legislature, the controller, the puppeteer of the state legislature.
The puppeteer.
Which is the puppeteer. He will now, the big puppeteer, which is the president Tinubu, will now tell the local puppeteer to put his dogs on leash. It's as simple as that. Pay them all their emoluments, give them additional, buy them cars, and all of that.
And Fubara will say, yes, sir.
Yes, now. Fubara will be working for Tinubu. Wike too will be working for Tinubu. Wike will no longer be working for himself. He will be working for Tinubu now. Fubara too will be working. And they will be thinking, who is the winner? Tinubu is the winner. They are not fighting. So rivers will no longer be a battleground,
I really like your analogy on that, your calculations, and it made sense to me. Comrade, that's the wrap for today. Thank you very much for being a part of the program this beautiful Friday morning. What are your plans for the weekend?
Yes, work, rests, and worship.
And worship, okay. All right, that's the wrap for today. We will be back on Monday morning for a fresh edition of From the Dailies and Solutions and 93. The Non FM. My name is Adi Damola Lafayette. Once again, I'm saying good morning.